Hi there, it's Dr. Mary Barbera here, and I am going live to Facebook and YouTube using StreamYard today. So I am here to answer your autism questions, or if you have questions related to signs of autism, um, we can answer that too. So for those of you that don't know me, I fell, quote unquote, into the autism world in the late 1990s when my firstborn son Lucas started showing signs of autism. Um, he started showing signs after his first birthday. My husband first noticed the signs before his second birthday, and he was diagnosed with autism, moderate to severe autism, one day before his third birthday. The problem with not seeking more intervention is because when my husband first mentioned the possibility of autism when Lucas was just 21 months of age, I told him it was not autism. I never wanted to hear the word again and went into a deep state of denial. So, um, it was tough, but I fast forward over the years, I was the founding president of the Autism Society in my county in the year 2000. Became a board certified behavior analyst in 2003. That is added to my license as a registered nurse as well. Earned a PhD as well in 2011. Wrote two books. The Verbal Behavior Approach book is my first book. It is How to Teach Children with Autism and Related Disorders. It sold many, many tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 copies. I'm not really sure of the stats on that book, but it was published in 2007, and it's in 17 languages, including Spanish. And then my latest book is Turn Autism Around, an action guide for parents of young children with early signs of autism. This book is available in hardcover, paperback, Audible with me reading it, and Kindle. And although it is for parents of young children, it also is great for professionals, and it's great for parents of older kids who still struggle with talking, tantrums, eating, sleeping, potty training, going to the doctor's, dentist, haircuts without a fuss. It is all in here. Okay, so we have some comments. So if you have autism questions or signs of autism, you can ask them. I think you have to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, I think, to approve um, showing your messages. Here's a nice one I'll show. I'm kind of new to this. I am new to StreamYard. So, Mary, you are amazing, awesome, and you give me hope with every video. I'm so grateful. God bless you and your family. And that is from Smiling is Contagious, which I love that name. So thank you for being so positive. Thank you. Okay. So this person is Delgado. Started following in 2019. Now I'm getting a job as an RBT entry level, and I want to continue with your online course, which is amazing. And an RBT, for those of you that don't know, is a registered behavior technician. And it was really a great and very much needed role here in the autism world. So good for you. And I would love if you would join my online course. Now, right now, speaking of online courses, we have two courses that we're selling right now, and one of them is going to be going away very, very soon, like within the next couple of weeks. So we have the toddler preschooler course, which is the course we sell the most of. It is for parents and early intervention professionals who work with kids ages 1 to 5. Who are either not talking or talking to some degree, but not conversational, have problem behaviors, might have problems with picky eating, addiction to a pacifier or bottle. They might have trouble with potty training, with sleeping. They might not be able to point or respond to their name. And it doesn't matter if they have an autism diagnosis, if they're waiting for an autism diagnosis, or if you're really confident that it's just a speech delay. My course can definitely help. Half of the parents that introduce themselves in our toddler community say they do not have a diagnosis of autism for their children. But the waiting lists are just huge for an evaluation. The stats just came out in March of 2023 that 1 in every 36 children in the United States has autism. And also, a stat that has been going on for a while is that 1 in every 6 children has some kind of developmental, emotional, or mental disorder. Um, so my course also helps kids who might end up having ADHD in the future, might have a learning disability, might have other things like cerebral palsy or Down syndrome, because in my toddler preschooler course are very child friendly, positive strategies, all based on the science. Okay, so that's the toddler preschooler course. That is not going away. You can get more information on that by going, you can go to either of these courses at marybarbera.com/courses. The second course that is going away, it's not going completely away, but it's going away as your first step, is the verbal behavior bundle course, which right now is still 6 months of access. It still is a compilation of a couple different courses, and it's a lot. It's a lot of great content, a full library. That is gonna be the second step. It is the second step after toddler preschooler. You go to verbal behavior bundle, you add that, and you are good for years with that. Um, we are launching and going to be offering a school age course for kids 6 and older for both parents and professional, and that will be your first step before you can buy the bundle in the future. So it's kind of the last chance to buy the verbal behavior bundle now in the next couple of weeks. If you're a behavior analyst, it includes all your credits you need to recertify as a behavior analyst or an RBT. There really are a lot of great resources, lots of videos embedded of me working with kids and others working with kids to really. The verbal behavior bundle includes things like how to use the BB map, how to teach prepositions, pronouns, how to teach showering and wiping after a bowel movement. I mean, it's just, there's a lot in there. Okay, and I'm answering any questions. So Delgado said she has the verbal behavior approach, and it's very useful. And I would encourage anybody that has the verbal behavior approach book to also get the Turn Autism Around book. You can even read the first chapter and listen to the second chapter for free and get all the free book resources at turnautismaround.com. So the people say, "Well, which one is better?" I would say the newest book is better just because I know tons more from 2007 when the other book was published until now. I know more. It is my latest, greatest. The other book is still great and fine, but if you don't have both, I would definitely get the Turn Autism Round book and read that first. Um, okay. My son is 2, not talking yet, only making sounds. Does he have autism? If he does, how can I help him speak? Um, it really, I mean, I know it's really hard, but if they're 2 and only making sounds, then your child is definitely delayed. Even if you join our online course, we're not going to tell you that they definitely have autism or not. We're not able to make that diagnosis, but it really doesn't matter. In our online course, we give you step by step what to do. Um, and we will help you by, you know, you going through the course and doing the assessment and making a plan and watching, gathering the materials, watching step by step what you should do. And so our goal is just to help each child reach his or her fullest potential. And I know it matters to you, and it may matter to get services and things like that. But your first step is helping him speak and understand and imitate and play and reduce problem behaviors would be your best step would be to join our course for toddlers. And if you can't or it's too much of an investment, at the very least, I would pick up the book and start reading it immediately. It's not the kind of book or course, though, that you wanna buy and not do anything with. It's very important that you take action. Um, uh, I'm new to your channel. Um, I'm new to your channel, and I'm conducting a study about barriers to effective use of ed tech to enhance language acquisition in autistic children in Morocco. Excellent. Um, I would definitely get a hold of my book, and also I do a weekly Turn Autism Around podcast. I have lots of videos on YouTube, some with over 1 million views. Mary, with therapy, how soon should you see improvement, or when should you recognize you need to switch therapy or providers? This is a great question. I would want to see improvement, regular improvement, pretty quickly. Um, and it doesn't mean you need to switch therapy. If you join our online course, you keep going with your therapy. We're going to help you work with that team of professionals to make sure you can collect data, easy data on just a paper calendar system that I created. We're going to show you child-friendly ways that you can actually see progress right away. And you can take videos and show the team, hey, I know we've been working on, the child labeling things and it's not really working, but look at what I'm doing with the shoebox or with inset puzzles here, and encourage everybody on the team to get on the same page. So I wouldn't switch necessarily unless your child is crying, not doing well. I always say no therapy is better than bad therapy. And once you learn my approach and once you do it, you won't have to ever have no therapy because you will be empowered to know exactly what to do. All right. How do we avoid verbal stimming or scripting? Are there any tips mentioned in your course? So you can always search Mary Autism plus your topic. So I do have free resources on stimming and scripting. Stimming and scripting are not bad. They shouldn't be just automatically stamped out. We all stim. All of our leisure activities are STEM behaviors. We throw basketballs at the net. That's stimming behavior. We watch reality TV. We scroll through Facebook. We play a musical instrument till we get the right notes. That's all self-stimulatory behavior. So stimming is not bad, but if it's causing harm or if it's very disruptive, um, by putting my four-step proven approach in place, um, we keep the child engaged during most of their waking hours, and that will reduce stimming and scripting um, just naturally. So there's no procedures that are like, do this to get rid of stimming, because we don't want to get rid of stimming. We want to make the stimming more about leisure activities and functional communication. Um, Would you buy the verbal behavior bundle if you are one going into kindergarten or the school bundle first? Well, right now, I would buy the verbal behavior bundle because that's 6 months of access and it's everything. Um, and it will be good. Even if your child's just 5, if you're on the edge, I would get into the bundle now. When the school age becomes available, you will actually get the school age within the bundle, and the school age when it is, released will be 60 days of access. And you might say, "Well, why only 60 days? That's not fair. I should get lifetime access." This is important. This is, like, really important that you get through the 60 days and you make progress step by step. Um, and so we want to see transformation, and we will never give lifetime access. When you buy the bundle after the 6 months, which is the bundle pricing, we encourage you to stay on for a very small monthly or annual fee. And we have people in our program for 8 years, paying a small annual fee to continue or a small monthly fee. It's just that important. And the other, I'm basically in the marketing world all day long. I produce courses, podcasts, videos. That's what I do. I have a full time team member. Rachel Smith is here with me, helping me manage. I have a team, and I have tech. And they say in the marketing world, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And I've seen that. I learned to play the piano during COVID. I could go on YouTube and search how to learn to play the piano, but it's not laid out step by step. And I didn't pay for it. Losing weight, I've bought tons of weight loss online programs. You can find I have reams of free information out there. But if you've been following me for a while, you know that besides my information, there's tons of information out there. And in my programs, you get community support, you get unstuck calls, you get step by step videos to show you what to do. And then when you do get stuck, we'll help you get unstuck. So there's really nothing like it. It's not like, oh, instead of Mary's program, buy X, Y, and Z program. There's nothing like it. And I assure you that. At what age does regression start for autism? My son regressed. My son regressed pretty much after 1, but it was very subtle. I've seen kids regress at 2 or 3. I've seen one child regress at 10. He had somewhat mitochondrial dysfunction. Um, I've seen kids regress during summer. I've seen regression with potty training or regression with problem behaviors because you're not in the right environment. So, in terms of if you think your child is getting off track, if they're falling behind with language, if they're falling behind, if they're losing skills, that's not normal. And you need to proceed on and try to get your head out of the sand. Like my head was in the sand for over a year, and that really hurt Lucas. How is autism officially diagnosed? Um, It is usually diagnosed only with a developmental pediatrician, a psychiatrist or neurologist, or a psychologist. Did I say a psychologist? Um, and or an especially trained pediatrician. Those are the main physicians and healthcare practitioners that diagnose autism. So the waiting lists are really long, and um, there is a lot of overlap, especially with higher language kids who aren't evaluated early on. There's a lot of kind of eyeballing kids and saying, no, it's definitely not autism. But unless you do standardized testing like the ADOS or the STAT, um, if you're not really specially trained, I'm specially trained in the diagnosis, but as a registered nurse, a behavior analyst with a PhD, I'm not able to diagnose. There is this service online. I haven't personally used it or really know anybody that used it, but it's called asyouare.com. And they are in several states and they will do evaluations online, usually covered by your insurance, and they will diagnose if appropriate. But in my courses and my stuff, it doesn't matter, especially for a 1 to 5-year-old. We have many members making tons of progress with quote unquote just a speech delay. My child is 3, undiagnosed, and has just started to say words, but speech therapy wants to use AACC. Um, should I be encouraging words as my son definitely wants to speak? Augmentative alternative communication is actually AAC, but all these are acronyms. Personally, as a behavior analyst and a verbal behavior expert, I want to get speech. I want to get babbling. I want to get um, word approximations. I'm not saying that I'm against AAC, but even in my years working with the Pennsylvania Verbal Behavior Project, we used a lot of sign very early on. And with my program, in the first 60 days, I don't really talk about sign, which is another form of AAC. I think kids are prematurely put on AAC devices. Not that it's going to hurt their speech, but um, I think I would focus, especially if your child can say some words. In our course, we talk about pop out words. We get language samples. We turn up the burners of engagement. For instance, Michelle C., who's done a couple podcasts with me, and I wrote a white paper about her daughter's really miraculous improvement. Her daughter started out at 2 with a diagnosis of autism. She had very few words, 2 words in 1 hour language sample when she started my course. 33 days later, with Michelle just watching the course and implementing it on her own without any support during COVID, within 33 days, she went from 2 words to 180 words and phrases in 1 hour. Her vocabulary was over 500. Michelle's daughter, Elena, is in this book. She's in chapter 8, 9, and 13. So again, not opposed to AAC, talkers, sign, PECs, but I do think doing my courses and really turning up the burners with vocal language is what I'd focus on. Anna said, my grandson has learning difficulties. He's now 7 and gets very violent with his mom and sister, and he knows he is doing wrong when questioned, but wants his mom to be happy. So with him all the time. As kids age, 7, 12, 15, they get big. If their problem behaviors are not solved early on, it can get very complicated and dangerous. But it's complicated. It's confusing. We would have you do through our online courses a full assessment. It doesn't have to be scary. We have lots of grandmoms in our course. You, grandmom and mom, can share the course login, and you can learn the 4-step procedure to evaluate him, not just in terms of prompt behavior, but in terms of where's his language, where's his, what is causing him to be violent, and you can make a lot of headway. Crystal said, "What can I do to prevent regression? Her teacher and myself have noticed isn't doing some of the stuff she used to do." Um, it's difficult because sometimes it's related to lack of reinforcement or the teacher doing things in a different way than last year's teacher. Sometimes it's related to the child being sick and getting having regression. Sometimes it's related to um yeah, like a medical problem, a reinforcement problem, um people overestimating on assessment what she could do. There's just so many factors, but the big point is in our online course and community, you would learn how to do your own assessment. It's only 10 minutes long, it's digital. Then you would learn how to take that assessment, turn it into a plan. Perhaps her IEP goals are not in line with her current abilities. And when kids do go backwards in one, two, three areas, it's hard not to keep going with your current goals. But for whatever reason, we need to back up. And so I would really encourage you to look at the course. And if you're like, I don't even know about this course, and there are free workshops, so you can kind of get an idea of what the courses are like. marybarbera.com/workshops will get you to the free webinars. Okay, Lady Gooden, love that name. The book that you just showed, I just ordered the paperback. Don't know if I have the right one. So which one do I need to get? You can get this Turn Autism Around book in hardcover, paperback, Audible, or Kindle. So it sounds like if you order this one on paperback, that's perfect. That's great. And then you can also go to turnautismaround.com to download all the free book resources and start reading it today. My 23-month-old niece seems normal. She does have eye contact. She dances to songs, but she doesn't speak a word and no response to her name. She responds only if we sing or play a song. Yeah, so I mean, normal is like a very broad spectrum. And if she's 23 months, almost 24 months, and not speaking a word, she is definitely delayed. And lack of response to her name is also a big problem, which I cover in my course, in my book. Um, all of these things you can teach her, but it's important to act now because the longer it goes, kids need tons of engagement during most of their waking hours, which is 100 hours a week on average. So she might not be getting the engagement she needs in order to get her talking and get her responding and get her playing. What's the meaning of autism spectrum disorder with global developmental delay? So usually global developmental delay is they use the term pretty loosely, and it basically means in all areas you are delayed, or if you're older and have global developmental delay, a lot of times that's linked with intellectual disability, an IQ score of under 70. I have done some video blogs and some work on intellectual disability and autism. My son has both. And autism spectrum disorder is pretty similar. And it means you have delays and differences in social communication and repetitive interests. So I wouldn't worry about the actual diagnosis if it's one or both, or um, if you have a child delayed in language, imitation, self care, and having problem behaviors, any of those combination, I know my stuff can help. My approach is scientifically proven. It has, all the components we need, and it is child friendly and positive. My child is 6, diagnosed with ASD. We are working with ABA therapists on balance program where we place no demand on her, but just comment and praise. Now with this, she looks up and responds back in short phrases. On the other hand, with her speech therapist, it's all about prompting, trying to get some more words out of her. Which should I focus on? I feel like both therapist tactics are different, and I am torn. I hate to keep saying this, but you need to learn through my book and or online courses of it's kind of like you need both procedures together, and it's really important that therapists be on the same page. And in my book and in my courses, I talk about one parent becoming the captain of the ship, um, because it is confusing, and you need people. She needs to be happy. She needs to be safe. She needs to be getting more and more independent and making progress. So I have videos, from 15, 20 years ago of kids sitting on the floor looking kind of happy, but they're not making progress. There's no targets, there's no data, there's no progress. And then I also see kids in not great therapy programs being prompted, yelling, screaming. They're not making progress either. You want kids to be engaged, working towards goals, and making progress. My son is 2. He's diagnosed with autism, not talking yet. Gets out of control when he gets upset, bites on things, and throws toys everywhere. We need help. Um, and these are very common to to go together. Um, so start with my book and or my toddler course, and I know that we can teach you how to turn things around. My 2.5-year-old son says no words, only making sounds. On the waiting list for therapy, he gets frustrated and pulls hair and hits himself and others. Any advice or tips for this, please? We need to be spending 95% of our time preventing problem behavior, keeping him busy, and child friendly strategies, approaches. And then you need to know what to do when he does hit himself or pull hair. Chapter 6 of my book is all about problem behaviors. Um, my course will help you put everything together. My 4-year-old grandson knows his alphabet, sings over 100 songs, counts to 100, knows some Spanish words. He repeats everything, but he can't say his wants and needs, but knows all the words. Yeah. And that's a great illustration of the problem with kids with language who are, I would call that hyperlexia probably. The alphabet, he probably can read, he can count, and it is a great skill, but if it gets too far off, it just can look like scripting and non-functional communication. So no matter if your child has words like this little boy or doesn't have any words, it's still the same approach. It's just that we need to individualize it. And that's where my course really shows you how to individualize um, things. Like, we don't tell you exactly what to do, we tell you how to assess and how to make the plan and how to gather the materials and how to sit with them at a table where they're happy, and then what to do if they're not happy at the table. We help you troubleshoot. But as you can see, it's very complicated because we have kids at 18 months not talking, biting, you know, all the way up to 5-year-olds who are talking in phrases and just refusing to sit on the potty. My son is 3 years, 10 months, can say a few words sometimes like teddy, cow, a few numbers, but he's not speaking yet. Is there a chance to speak, or is he considered nonverbal? I wouldn't consider anybody that speaks a few words to be nonverbal. And actually, technically, we are all verbal, even newborn babies, when they cry for things, are verbal. So, he's verbal, and you just need to learn the techniques to get these, what I call pop out words, into functional communication. Um, and there's a lot of people that are like hoping their child will speak in the future. Most of the children I've worked with over the years, and it's probably thousands directly at this point, um, have spoken. It's just that not all kids have become conversational, which is the whole point of the verbal behavior bundle, is getting kids from, um, either not speaking or speaking a little bit and into conversational speech, which is huge. My son Lucas is 26 now, and Spencer's 25. This is Lucas, and he he can speak. He can shower independently, dress. He does the wash. He volunteers at the food bank with support. But he still needs 24/7 supervision and lifelong care because he doesn't understand safety, like when to call 911 or what to do in case of a fire, or he wouldn't have the comprehension skills to do that. And then we have Spencer, who's 25. He's in medical school. But my goal for both my boys and all of your kids is that they're both as safe as possible. Safety looks way different for Spencer versus Lucas, and they're both as independent as possible, and they're both as happy as possible. So it doesn't really matter. I was on a podcast the other day, and she said, "Well, if a kid's having a tantrum, is it because they're two or because they're autistic?" And I said, "It doesn't matter. Neither. It's because the behavior is being reinforced." Um, and after, 20 years as a behavior analyst, more than 30 years as a nurse, I can tell you it's not your fault. It's just I didn't know when my kids were babies what to do. I wasn't a behavior analyst. I had no idea how to get Lucas to talk or how to get him from stop taking his clothes off, or um, I had no idea how to teach him to go from the pop out words to functional communication, which he can functionally communicate. Um, but he's not conversational. And that's not just because I don't know what I'm doing. There's plenty of kids that have been helped to become conversational through my work. But um, our goal is the same: safety, independence, happiness, and reaching their full potential, which is a moving target. Hi, Mary. I can't listen as I'm working, but wanted to tell that also my kid was not speaking, and after 2 to 3 weeks of table following the programs of your course, awesome, he knew and could tell all the words during table time. So I really recommend your courses. Thank you. I have videos of those days and my sessions with my child if they can be helpful for your courses one day. He's nearly 4 and trilingual, ASD diagnosis at 23 months. Yes, Laura, I would love it if you would connect with Rachel, and she can put her it's Rachel at marybarbera.com. If you would email her, I would love that. And maybe we could even have you come on a podcast, or we could get a success story, because stories like that really give people hope and really, I feel like I'm trying to sell my courses. I really, for me, it is not about the money. It is about getting help to all of you. And I mean, I have to make money to run my business. But that is such an inspiring story. So thank you so much, Laura. And maybe Rachel can write down her name, and either one contact each other. I'd love to use your story. Thank you so much. Okay, well, I answered, okay, Mary, I cannot find the verbal behavior bundle. Is there a chance you have a link? I did use the search on your site, but it just came up with already purchased. Okay, so for parents, it's marybarbera.com/ELC-join. But you could also go to marybarbera.com/courses and pick the box of parent of school age. But that will get you directly to the sales page. You can always email Rachel@marybarbera.com if you're live here and you're having trouble or you're unsure. Your child's 4 or 5, you're not sure if the bundle or the toddler. If you have any questions, you can always email info@marybarbera, or if you're live here and you're listening and you want to connect directly with Rachel, that's great too. All right. So Rachel's putting her email up. Any questions about joining the courses? It really is your best path forward. People say all the time, which is better, your book or your course? I'm like, my course, definitely, because you could read the book and then Johnny's on the floor and you have no idea what to do. If you take the course, Johnny won't be on the floor. And if he is, and if you watch through module 2 all about problem behaviors, it'll before that about assessment and making a plan. And after module 2 on problem behaviors, Johnny's on the floor. You come into our Facebook community and we will surely help you. It isn't like you're doing something wrong. It's that you have a trickier case and we don't want anybody getting stuck. We want people progressing. We want lots of success stories like we had with Laura, after 2 to 3 weeks, not even 60 days, he was doing so much better. And that's what we want for all of you. So email us, join our course. I hope to see your introduction. If you do join the course and introduce yourself, tell us. I was on a live the other day and I joined the course. And we'd love to have you in our community. It really will make a difference, whether you have therapy in place, whether you have a diagnosis in place, whether you think your child's just speech delayed, whether you have nothing in place. As long as you're willing to watch these short videos and take action, you will make progress. And I'm excited to have you in our community. So thank you so much. Thanks to Rachel for being here and helping me with these comments. And I look forward to seeing your introductions. Have a great weekend if I don't see you before then. Bye.